Okay, here we are back. Our second part about uh, updating our own setup for a new release of Tamriel Data. And what we have already seen is how to optimize the BSA archive files, making them both smaller and faster and in theory better working with MIP maps. And now what we want to do is do the proper update of ESM mods, trying to make the update work in a better way. So let's start about with talking about the possible problems that may happen if you don't update properly, and hopefully also why these problems happen. Okay, so let's start maybe with a dedicated page. That I may have. Okay, so usually when I have to do this thing, I always reread this old article, because more or less things are still valid. So let's do it. It's on the front page of my site, so not hard to find. Let's see it here, maybe. Okay, so if you want more details about what problems may happen, there's a link here in the previous post, also about problems and why they may happen, and also values different opinion about it by critic about how Tiny Rebuild project is managing, or better not managing, the way to update correctly saves, essentially making more difficult for even the available tools like Mesh able to fix the problems to work correctly, because they used to not only change references in a new version like it is natural, because that's the way the construction set is working, but also changing, and this is the thing that I really don't support and don't like, changing objects identifiers, which is the real no-no that should be avoided at all costs if possible, to avoid problems. Because if you change identifiers in the masters, then the one tool that is able to technically compare the versions and fix problems, which is Mesh, is not able anymore to do that by default. So This is not something you should do when you update your master, your mod master, but Tamriel Rebuild is doing this as a routine since several years. Reason is they find it easier to organize and change, find things when they edit the mod, but problem is they are in fact destroying the possibility for normal user to use mesh updaters to fix their saves if they want to go on playing with old saves with the new version of Tamriel Rebuild. This is in short the problem. Why this happens? Well, technically it's not easy to explain, but I will try to do this. Basically, borrowing is based on three similar data files format which are loaded in this order. There are .esm files, like for instance Rowing.esm. There are ESP files like mymod.esp, or to remain with more known examples like the rpreview.esp or abot silt striders tr 2020.esp. And then finally the game is loading your saved games, which are similarly using an extension like ESS. So my save one.ess. So the order of loading things is first the masters ESM, then the ESP, and then the ESS. And the last loaded thing wins override the same changes, possible changes that are in the previous loaded files. So what happens when you upgrade one of these kind of master files that is used by another mod, and obviously by any save that may be used this loading order? Basically this kind of files, like let's add more of this, like to make an example, Tamriel Data.esm. So we could have here the mainland.esm and so on, or like this if you prefer. Basically everything is using this one as master, but this does not change. This is standard Bethesda ESM file. We never touch this. But what happens when we upgrade Tamriel Rebuild is this one change, and probably when we this is the Tamriel Data package, but when we upgrade also the Tamriel Rebuild specific package, also this one master is changing, also this one, but these are not usual problem because they are already updated. The problem is when I have a mod like this which is using this one as master, this one as master, when I upgrade these master The only way to properly upgrade this is to use the so-called mesh updaters procedure. This is true both for this kind of mods and all your saves using the Tamriel Data and Tamriel mail masters. Why this? Well, because in your game, let's imagine we have some object definitions like a tree, for instance, and then we have all these trees and rocks and so on, which are copies of these original trees placed in your game cells, like for instance around Balmora and so on. The game is storing this information like this. For instance, we have a thing named tree number 1 by tree number 1, for instance, or tr31, just to do an example, which is the coming from the number 101 resource present in this file. Okay, and is defined here, and this is saved. For instance, if I move that tree from this ESP file, that's the identifier of the object and the number of the mod in this order where this object is defined, for instance number 3 here, and then there is finally the position in this file where the object is defined. So when I have to change the position, the size, if it is visible or not in this file, I know how to find it, how to find the original object properly. What happens when you update this thing, changing the order, the number of the object here? It happens that this file and your save are not able anymore to find the right object that is stored in your ESP having this as master, or in any of your save doing the same thing, relying on the position in the master of the original object. So as when you edit and add things or move things, references and so on in the masters, this number is no more valid, because when you save, the construction set is changing the order of these things or references essentially. So there's no way the game can reconstruct this information correctly 100% if you have no more the original files where to look for the original information. And that's the reason why you should never overwrite the file directly when you update. Instead, you should use a procedure called updaters, which is available from mesh, and then we will see in details when we apply it. But in short, you must right click the old version of your master, like for instance this one, and apply it's a contrary. You must have both the old version and the new version. You must click the new version and apply updaters there. But the important thing is you have to have available in the data files folder both the old and the new version. As this procedure cannot work because you don't have anymore the information of the old version available. So this is the important thing. You must pay attention to not override the old version, as you lose the possibility to update correctly. Okay, so in this page, and this is true both for ESP file that use those changed masters, but more importantly too for your saves that are relying on the old version of the masters. So this is all good, because in theory, if we have do things properly and use two versions of the we keep the old version and the new version with a different name, in theory we can use mesh to upgrade things, correct? Yes and no, because as I was shortly explaining, if for instance Tamriel rebuild is also changing the the masters objects identifier, we have not only the problem that this number is changing, for which there is a solution using the mesh procedure, but also we don't have anymore this identifier for that object, but maybe this is now called 327 for some reason, or better TR43 for some internal naming reason to make things easier for Tamriel rebuild developer. But this way mesh is no more able to work, because now the old 3.1 is no more, and mesh cannot do the remapping of the reference number correctly. So this problem is pretty bad, because there's no standard tools available to fix this problem. Oh, well, the correct thing is there was no tools, because I tried to make something able to more or less fix this thing. What I did is try to change the source mesh of source version of mesh to sort of fix this thing using the data available for another tool provided by Tamriel rebuild, which is sort of solving this problem in a limited way for instance dialogue and things like this, but not for references in cells, which is the thing that the mesh tool is doing. And also there's another problem, that not only remapping things, but for instance if you have an older mod which is still using things that were in previous versions of Tamriel rebuild, and these things are not only with a different identifiers, but have been really removed completely from the mod. There are no more things with a different name but with the same content. They are no more there. So this old mod simply can't find this kind of objects anymore. So in this case, there is no other solution than to find a way to put back this kind of objects if you want the old mod to work, or you have to edit the old mod and in some way replace those things, remove them, and so on. So what I try to do is make some tool able to add back these used objects, if possible, to the Tamriel Data.esm files in a way compatible with the references in the new version. So we can still use mesh updaters and still have the old objects used by old mods available, if possible. And then change it to the source of mesh, so it's able to use the list of some of these changes provided by Tamriel Rebuild to use with their Java tool to fix part of the problem, to add this information to mesh and being able to remap things in a proper way, even when identifiers names are changed. This is all hard to understand and technical, but the gist of it is, if you read the article and go down to the link to provided tools, in theory you could get a version, the version of this tweaked version of mesh that I use to try and solve the problem, and also other tools that can help with this. So if you want details, read this couple of articles and download. There's a problem here. I must fix this link. Let me check this. You know, this is something that I updated very recently, so it could be that the link is not working because I did not test it. So it's a permission problem. Probably this has changed. Oh. Strange. Maybe it is some new restriction about Google, because these are PAL files and executable files that maybe are deemed suspicious. I don't know why, but let's see if I can. I cannot share from here. Okay, so sorry about this, but I have to move this link to a different place because for some reason they are not allowing me from Google Drive to update this. So how can I do this? Let me check. I can upload somewhere else. Tell you what, I will do. I will update the link after finishing this video, but for now I will just use the tools from my folder here. But in short, that that download should have the needed tools, and I should have it here called Tamriel Data update pack. So this tool is a version of mesh and some files to put in the data files as example, and then a link to the article about this thing. So now we will try to follow the procedure, because I don't do it very often, so it is useful for me to read the steps. Okay, so this is if you want to change things by hand, but I am providing in this package an executable version of mesh in theory that should work with these things already included. So what you should do is download this Tamriel Rebuild Update pack and copy this folder in your Morrowind folder. Don't use this name, use a different folder name, because this is the standard for mesh if you're using it. So we will call it mesh tr, mesh tr, mesh tr update, something like this, mesh tr. Okay, so I will put content here. As you can see, there's a simple mesh executable similar to the Polemos one. The difference is this one has this special tool to help upgrading with Tamriel Data and Tamriel Rebuild changes. And we have it here. So this is the first thing we need. Then we need the rest of things in the data files folder. So basically these are changed version of that's-free command to better work with recent changes by NWSC format and so on. Probably they are not strictly necessary to use the new mesh updaters, but as you are here, you could replace them. So these must be in the data files, but what is important is if we open this Tamriel Data and .txt. In short, this is what you should do. It is explained better in the article, but okay, so we have a mesh version we can use. Let's see if it is running, because that's one thing. So we have put it in mesh tr. Let's try and start it. Okay. it started. Okay, it seems to work for now. Then we need to follow, for instance, the article. And this is the package included. And this is the important thing. To use the tool, you need old version of Tamriel Rebuilt Masters, what you have in your current version of Tamriel Rebuilt before updating. And the new versions of the masters, Tamriel Data and Tamriel Malan, should be copied in your data files folder, but with these different names. So we must copy the updated new version with this name. So I will just copy it to make things faster. Then we go to our download. And basically we must copy this Tamriel Data with a new name in the usual folder. So basically we copy Tamriel Data with this new name. Okay, so it does not write over the old version of Tamriel Data. This is important. You must not overwrite the old version, else you cannot use the correct mesh procedure. Okay, let's copy it. And so we have the old version with all my loaded mods here. And we should have the new version with a different name. Here it is. So now we have the new version. We can start checking it, cleaning it, redating it, and do the usual operation that you may want to do when updating a mod. But we must pay attention to use a new name for it. Okay, so to make things simple, the first thing I suggest to do is to redate the file so you have the exact timestamp as the old version, so you don't change the loading order. So we click the old version and select the file timestamp and copy it, and then we can paste the timestamp in the new version like this. Ctrl V. So the file have the exact same timestamp name and the same loading order. If you are using the Polemos version of Mesh, by default the interface is a little different, but more or less you do the same. So for instance, you would go so we got here, and instead of doing this, you can just copy directly the mod datetime, even simpler, and then you paste in the new version. Where it is. Here it is, like this. Paste. It's the same thing. The interface is a little different, but the concept is the same. So this is the first thing I suggest you do. And then we can start checking for problems with these and other new updated mods like usual. So we will use our standard automatic tools for cleaning mods like test tool and test free command. Probably the mod will be already clean because these are standard resource mod done by big modders associations, so usually they are clean, but you know, it's better to do this thing with any mod you are going to install. So we start test tool and then clean ESP/ESM files and select the option, and I will just use standard options, first two checked and the rest unchecked, and then execute and load the Tamriel Data version that we have called Tamriel Data New. So we open it, and as you can see, the mod is already clean, good, but it's always good to do this when you put in a new mod in your loading order. Just pay attention, you don't have to use this button which is trying to clean each and every mod in your loading order and sometimes can break things. Just use this option and the execute to select a single mod you want to check and clean. So basically all bad things that people say about this plugin tool is because they are using this button when they should not. So don't use this, use this one and select the mod that you want to process. Okay, so we just checked our new Tamriel Data News with task tool, then we do the same thing with mesh. So we can use the Polemos version, for instance, right click, clean with task free command, and in theory there should be no errors. Okay, not modified. Good. So we are now sure that the mod is clean and we can start using it. And we need to do the same things with the TR mainland. So we need to download the new version of Tamriel Rebuild. Now we have used Tamriel Data package. So we now need to do the same for Tamriel Rebuild. Before doing that, I want to do another thing. In the Tamriel Data package, there is also this tool, which is called Tamriel Rebuild File Patcher, which is a Java file and the important translation.txt file, which is basically the list of how the old identifier used in the previous version has been changed to a new one. And this thing is precious for the special version of Mesh that I have released, to be able to hopefully find the proper changes of identifiers for things that are still there but with a new identifier. So this is an important file. uh, with part of the things of the names that in times have changed between versions. And I must say that this does not sadly cover all the history of changes in Tamriel Rebuild. So what I do usually is compare with the previous version that I already have and merge them, so I have all the history of changes released in the history of Tamriel Rebuild. So there are many ways you can do this, many tools, but I suggest you use something like WinMerge, which is a very commonly used tool to merge changes between files, and that is what we will do. So for instance, I will copy the path. Oh, by the way, this is another tool that I really suggest you install in your Windows computer. It is called Path Copy, and it is a pretty nice utility where you can right click on any file and automatically you copy the file and folder path that you are using. And because this kind of information is pretty useful to have when you work with files. So we right click this file and copy the file folder path, and then we can look for the same file version that I have here, for instance called translation, and we open this with WinMerge, paste the second file here. So what we want to do, and so I don't have to look for the file or open it here, I have already the correct path, but else you can just browse and load it directly. But in short, what I'm trying to do is compare the new released version of this translation.txt, which is the list of name changes done in the Tamriel Data, with the previous version which I have already updated with all definitions. So I will add the new things that are not here, and I will add the old things that are not here. So my file has all the possible information to look for old identifiers and new identifier. So let's do it. We'll open both, and as you can see, this kind of tools called WinMerge, but there are other tools. The concept is to compare two files, showing you differences in an easy to find and edit way. You explore the differences just clicking Alt and the arrow up or down. So for instance, let's see, first difference is just a space, so nothing really important, but we can just copy it to the left or to the right, just keeping Alt and click in your keyboard and then using an arrow key like this. So now I have copied this to the left, so they are no more different. And so I look for the next difference. As you can see, just spaces, nothing really important. Oh, sorry. This is the real difference. As you can see, I have still an old information about an old identifier that is no more present here, but could be useful if you have some old mod which is using this identifier. So what I will do is instead copy this old information from the left to the right, like this. and then I go on. This is more interesting because this is a special case. So the present version of the translation.txt file in the last release of Tamriel Rebuild, Tamriel Data, is telling you, okay, we were using this identifier, now we use this identifier. Problem is that before using this or this, they were also using this one. So if you have an old mod that is still using this, you cannot really solve the problem because this one does not exist anymore as a reference in this list. So in this case, what we want to do is mix the information. So we have A has been replaced by B, but then B has been replaced by C, while here we have C has been replaced by D, but no more trace of what was A. So I will just copy the information that is on the left to the right, and so on. So it needs a little attention to properly update this information, but the final result is that you will have an updated translation.txt with all the possible changes that you can remap correctly. So I think this is a great tool to have. So in this case, we add this information here and we go like this. Empty lines are not really important, but we just process copy. Okay, so this information here is missing because these are very old identifiers, but maybe we have a mod that is still using this. So we do copy it and go on, and we check all the lines. Most of them are just different end line characters probably, but oh, sorry, this one, let's see. Okay, this one is new, so we copy it to the left and we go on and on and on. Let me check this one again. Oh, I can go back just pressing Ctrl Z. I don't know if I'm using the correct pronunciation, but this merge tool is really easy to use once you understand these 4 keys, and really great to compare and update different versions of text files like we are actually doing. But as you can see, there are most space differences, so it's not something that will require a lot of time. Still, it is really precious for our updaters procedure because we will be able to hopefully save some very old version of mods that would really have problems. Okay, and this one should be more or less the same. Yeah, it is just the late character, so we will just copy to the left. So selected files are now identical and we will just save them. Okay, so now we are sure that our translation.txt here to the left is in theory updated. Let's check again. I will compare the files by content, and they are now identical. So I will put this file here in the data files folder and also in the... Oh, another important thing that I suggest you do when you are using some proper orthodox file manager like the double commander is to set up it to use a quick key. There are usually options and settings for shortcut keys, configuration, hotkeys. Here you set up a hotkey to align the content of two windows. So if we are in this folder, you just press a key and the window to the right is showing you the same folder. This way you can very easily move and copy files in different folder that are nearby. So for instance, now I want to copy this file in the upper folder. I could just copy paste it using standard clipboard, but instead I can just press this special key, which in my case I set up to the function 12 key, which is the last function key usually in the standard keyboards. I press it, and as you can see, I am looking now in the same folder here. So I want to put this file, copy it in the Morrowind folder. I just go up one level and copy it. So I will overwrite the previous version here. So I have now the updated translation.txt both in this data files folder and in the Morrowind folder. So my tools will be able to find it in both places. Okay. Another thing we could check is if by chance the latest version of, we go back to the download folder, if the file patcher jar tool, Java tools, has changed compared to the previous version, but I don't think so. Let's see. TR file patcher. I will compare as usual. Files, compare by contents, and the two files are identical. So this tool is not upgraded. It's been a long time since there's been an update, I think, but we already have the updated version of it. So to run this tool you need to have Java installed. Could be a little difficult, but it's a tool that is not always needed, but sometimes it is. So it's better to run it anyway, or if you are unsure. It has one problem, that by default it will replace your masters with standards without asking, and this is oftentimes a problem to apply correctly our procedure. So let's say we will run it before maybe upgrading. I'm not sure about it. I better read my article because I don't remember this detail. Let's see. Look for jar in the article. Oh, it is written here. after the masters have been changed using mesh updaters, you can use the patcher. So don't do it as a fast change. First we must apply updaters. I'm sure he had a very good reason to tell you this. So I will believe to myself and apply this thing after mesh updaters. So we go back to our instruction here. We already prepared where is it? Okay. We have already prepared the Tamriel Data new. Now we need to get the new Tamriel rebuilt version. I probably have already downloaded it. Let's see. Maybe not. Okay, so I will try and download it. Yeah. So we have already downloaded and upgraded most of this. Now we need to update Tamriel rebuild. And oh, there's no separate. Okay, download. I'm not very fast on downloading because I don't have the professional downloading speed. I will never pay for Nexus. I think I have enough point to, in theory, to get some 1 year or 1 month. I don't remember how much how many days the faster download speed is enabled if you pay for the Nexus, but I have no intention to pay for a site where I am a big contributor, already giving money and uploading mods for free. I think that the Nexus should really share more profit with the mod makers before asking for mod makers to pay to download at a better speed. I think mod makers should have better speed by default because they are giving money to the Nexus with their work. So really, I will never pay for the Nexus by principle. Anyway, we can download at our slow speed, but as you can see, it's not really a big file like the Tamriel Data one because we don't have as many resources. But anyway, here it is. We just extract it in a proper folder and we start working on it. As usual, we have various extra package. I must say first that this patch is no more needed since a couple versions, but for some reason it is still here in the package. Anyway, First, we need to go to the core folder and maybe check and add this last minute text. I think it should be okay, but 64. It is an ingredient for some reason here in this folder. Okay, very good texture. We can just open it here. Image. Basically, I just want to check if there are MIP maps. I can use this maybe. Image. Information. I think there are no MIP maps. Okay, so we will use ordenador on these single textures just to be sure. Okay, open it. H, download, timer rebuild, core textures. Make if not MIP maps. Start. Okay, texture is already good. And then we have the docs, readme and so on, usual things. Updating save games, let's read this. Okay, you must run the file patcher. Then undertake the additional steps explained here to resolve any potential errors. This is not true in my opinion. You must follow what I'm trying to explain now and then maybe use the file patcher. But anyway. Okay, so we have the new version of the timer build manual, which is the thing that we want to process now, and maybe we can just copy these last minute textures. Some rowing, and we go to data files, and we copy the textures here. Merge all. Okay. And now we have this new Tamriel mainland version. Pay attention, do not override the old version we have already. We must rename it to this new name. Like TR_ mainland n.esm. You may ask yourself, why are we using this strange name instead of using, for instance, TR_ mainland new? This is a sort of little trick because after updating things, we will want probably to use the standard name for the masters, rename back to TR_ mainland, and this way we can do it just using some hexadecimal editor to do this on a bunch of mods in a very short time, just changing a letter back. So this is the reason why I'm not using a longer name for this, because it's easier to change it back using a tool to upgrade a lot of files in the same step. So that's the reason why. So anyway, we will use this new name for the new version. So we copy it, and when we are going to copy the file to the data files folder, we press our key to do the copy, but before actually starting the copy, we change the name like this. So the file name is different, and it is this one. So we start the copy, and now we go to our mesh and do the same thing. We go to the previous version of Tamriel Rebuild, the mainland. We copy the file timestamp, copy mod data, and then we paste it in the new version, so they have the same. Okay. This is not the one we are looking for. They should be. Oh, here it is. TR mainland. Okay, and then we paste the mod data. Okay. And now we go on reading our instructions. So we have the two new masters renamed like this. Now we start using our batch files, Tamriel Data and Gen, provided by the download. And we go to the data files folder, look for the file. Tamriel Data and Gen. Tamriel Data. Here it is. So in theory, this batch file should just start our processing. Now start it. Tamriel Data new should be latest new release Tamriel Data. Tamriel Data ESN should be the old latest release Tamriel. Okay. This tool will generate a Tamriel Data, and as you can see here, the trick about the last letter also to the new generated Tamriel Data that we will use to apply our updaters. And the difference between this one and the one provided by the Tamriel Rebuild is that this one will have also old identifiers from the previous version, so it will be able to work also with all the mods. Okay, let's press a key, see what happens. And this is our created Tamriel.n.esn. And it is telling you that now we have these records that are not present anymore in the new Tamriel data, but could be useful for old mods using them. That's the reason why we do this. The rest is equal, but now we have this extra old information in the Tamriel data files that allow us to be more compatible with all mods that could be still using these identifiers. And these are object identifiers, they are not references. So these two versions of the Tamriel data are compatible from a references point of view. So you can replace one with the other without problems with mash updaters. And so we did this step. We go on. We have generated our Tamriel data and ESM file. Okay. Now, when Tamriel data is ready, we could also hide or delete, or we don't need anymore the Tamriel data new.esm, so we can just delete it, just to avoid having files not needed anymore. So this one is no more needed. We just delete it. Right. Now, we already did this passage. Oh, we must do it also with the Tamriel.m to be sure. Okay. Sorry if I don't remember perfectly the article, but it's been some year. So we get the timestamp from the old Tamriel data, copy, mod data, and we go to the new created version. It will probably have a date in the future. Let's be sure. So first this one, copy, then we go to the new one. And paste mod data. Okay. And we do the same. Oh, we must save probably. Do the same with our mainland. We copy the datetime to the new version, and we paste it, and click here and save to be sure. Maybe I did something stupid. Let's see. it should not matter because the Tamriel data is reference compatible, so that should really be no problem with the references. But it's a check you can always do. You try repair references when you save a file. If no problems are found, usually it means that there were no references differences. Anyway, we did this step. And now we are ready. Now that everything has the same timestamp, we are ready to finally apply the mesh updaters procedure. But this is the difference. So far we have used the Polemos version because more or less it does the same things of previous mesh version from a more updated interface and so on, but now we need specifically my tweaked version, which is using the comparison with the Tamriel data how is it called? With the Tamriel data translation, which is the database with the changed object names, because using this updated list we will be able hopefully to remap correctly even old identifiers that are no more present in the new version used by old mods. So hopefully this will avoid a lot of problems, but you must use the new version of Mesh, specially updated to do this thing. And that is in this Tamriel update package, and I repeat, the link is not working because for some reason Google changed how you can change it, or how you can share files, and because in this file there are executables and so on, it will not allow you to download it if you are not logged in. So I must find a different place where to host this file, but I will fix the link in a short time. But anyway, when you have this tool, you just start this special version of Mesh, and we have copied it here in the Mesh TR folder. So I will start it, and we apply the updaters procedure from this version. That will hopefully work. The version of Mesh that I usually use is still the source one, which I tweaked with this and other tools. So I usually use just that one, but I have prepared this executable version just for people trying to apply this complicated procedure without having to install the source version of Mesh, if actually this thing is starting correctly, because it was more or less starting 1 hour ago, and for some reason it's taking a lot of time. Maybe I should close some window. Let's see if it is uh, not running correctly. Uh, uh, uh. Hmm. I don't see any mesh running. So let's start again. Oh, there's some kind of problem here. Oh, maybe we need to add the missing folders. Let's see. So we go here. Owen, Mopi. Oh yeah, maybe we need this. I will copy this just to be sure. Problem is not there. I don't know. Let's try this one. No, the same problem. Could be the translation file for some reason. That's really strange. mlogs is running with no problems. But mesh is having some problems here. Don't know. Problem is if we don't manage to run it, we cannot really play this. Let's try from the console. Fail to execute. Some kind of problem with Python. I'm sorry, but we are at a point where if this is not working, I must stop here because we need this version of mesh working at this point. So if for some reason it needs some fixing, this must be done first. So maybe we can try this mesh debug. Oh. End of file error. Mosh. I hope that running the Polemos version did not cause problems with the standard old mesh version. We will try and compare these folders. Let's try and restore these. Because sometimes mesh is very really delicate, especially with the pickle configuration files. No, that's not a problem. Okay, let's try and replace completely this folder with the backup version, just to be sure the problem is not here. You know, when things start going bad. No, problem is elsewhere. Probably in the data folder. So we compare the backup. Synchronize directory and no subdirs. See what changed. And specifically what changed recently. Well, these are all the files. The translation.txt this. That's strange. Seems like the one thing that changed here is the translation. But I don't think this could be the problem. Or for instance, in the mesh folder, okay, let's try restoring this one. Oh yeah, and okay, for some reason, I think that the Polemos version of Mesh did something not compatible with the old Mesh version. And just sort of made something incompatible with this table .pkl file in the data files mesh folder. So a suggestion that I can really give you is, with Morrowind, it is always better to have a backup of the entire Morrowind folder that you update often, because every now and then you have this kind of problems where you have no idea what could have changed, making things not work anymore. And if you have a recent backup, you can just compare the folders and find a very fast what possibly could have changed and cause problems and fix things, like hopefully we are doing now. So now in theory I should be able to start that version of mesh. Okay, so we start this new mesh here that is now working. So we sort by selections, we sort by loading order, we look for Tamriel Data, I think. Okay. From mesh, right click the new Tamriel Data and ESM updaters and load the old version. So right click the new version, here it is, Tamriel Data and.esm updaters. If there is something here already, we must remove, but there's nothing, so we choose the old version. Tamriel Data.esm. Okay. We choose Tamriel Data N ESM, the new special version we generated, which is the new version plus the old identifiers coming from the old version of Tamriel Data. And then we add Tamriel Data here. So we have set up our updaters for Tamriel Data N, and we do the same thing with TR mainland N. But first we should update this to the proper date. Let me check this thing. Maybe a problem is here because the timestamp is not correct. Yeah, this is the timestamp. Let's paste it. Maybe Polemos version did something, or I did something not properly with the timestamp. Because I'm more used to this version of Mesh, honestly. So I will upgrade this, paste, right, and we do the same with the Tamriel mainland here. Copy and paste to the new version. We need also to change this. As we are here. As we are here, we can also change this to the new one. Because now we can. Oh, what happened? Okay, let's save. So what I do is change the timestamp so it is the same of the old version, and at the same time I'm also updating the master with the new version, with the new special version containing also the old identifiers, and then we save. So in theory there should not be many changes because they should be reference compatible, but you know. Okay, so we did this step too. Also did this. Now we do the same for TR mainland and ESM. Oh, we already did, sorry. Okay. Oh no, we need to do this for the updaters. There are lots of steps you must follow. The article, I wrote that article mostly for myself because it is a complicated thing, and if you don't write it, you may have the tool but you don't remember the steps, so we need to do this here. Right click, update us, choose the old version, the mainland. We wait. Oh, one thing to notice is if the mesh is telling after a while that your file does not need any updaters, you're lucky. It means that there are no references, changes between the versions, and you don't need the updaters at all, and you can just copy over the new version of the mod. But as you can see, this is not the case. There are changes in references, and so we need to do this to properly update mod that will use this new version of TR mainland and so on. So let's go on with the steps. We already updated the timestamps, but let's check them. So 114110. 114110. Okay, we are ready. And now the difficult part. We did this for Tamriel rebuilt. Now we need to do that for the rest. And how can we understand what the rest is? Well, there will be a lot of mods that we must change, but to find them I have another nice little tool in that folder. There should be loaded mods using Tamriel_data.esm, which is a batch file that in theory you could just run. As you can see here, loaded mods using Tamriel Data. This file is using test-free command to print the list of your loaded mods having Tamriel Data as master, which are the mods that need proper updating. And to do this is using the latest alpha version of test-free command, which is one of those files in the package with upgraded test-free command. So we run this. And we have the list of all the files that could need upgrading. As you can see, there are many of them. In theory, this one should be replaced by the new version of the Skyrim mod, which should be already set up to work with the new Tamriel Data. Problem is that I have moved it, so I will need also to do that, but it is less important at the moment. The same thing probably with this one. We just use the new version of the abot data. Problem is with and maybe the same with this one. We can just get the new version and move it. But this is a separate thing that may be a problem just for me because I'm using this special version. What is important is the old mods that are no more having already updated compatible version with the new Tamriel data. So we need to upgrade these and this and this and so on. But luckily we have the proper list. Oh, this one also is provided by Tamriel build, so you don't really need this. But the rest could use some upgrade. So what I will do is remove from this list what I know at the moment does not need to update immediately, and keep the things that I want to upgrade. So we will skip this, and this, and this. The rest should be upgraded. So I will remove also these test 3 lines which are not really needed. But to give you any idea, there are plenty of mods that need proper upgrade. This one not needed. Okay, this one can just generate again. So this is probably the list. As you can see, still a lot of mods. So let's just start with the first one, Single Tower. And it may seem difficult, but it's always the same story. You right click a mod, choose updaters. Oh, sorry, no need for this. We can just do it here. We must change the masters with the Tamriel Data new. Okay, I will just do this. Right click, change to Tamriel Data. And then we save. What happens now? Basically, we are replacing the previous dependency of old version of Tamriel Data with the new Tamriel Data compatible with the references of the just upgraded downloaded Tamriel Data, but having also the old objects identifiers that some old mod may want to use. And we have already mapped this new version using the mesh updaters procedure. So mesh now have the information to compare the version and in theory fix some problem with the references in old Single Tower mod. So let's save. And in theory now, this version of Single Tower should be upgraded correctly without losing references to the new version of Tamriel Data used here. So we do this. We do the same with this one. Castle Earrings. Sorry, I'm no more supporting this thing because it's been sort of overwritten by recent version of Tamriel Data. So I have just moved it in a different place, and I'm not more upgrading it on the internet. I just use it for myself, because I'm tired of having every time to fight with changes that Tamriel Rebuild are doing with that. Anyway, I will upgrade it here. Airings. And yeah, I must change both these masters. So I will change this to Tamriel Data N. And I must also change this to the new version, as you can see here. And then do not forget this, you must save. And in the background, our mesh versions should update things correctly. And we need to do the same thing with all the mods in our list that we want to upgrade. So the house pod pack. I want to. I don't know why it is. I don't want to see this. How can I do it? It is disappearing when I go. For some reason. Oh well. House pod pack. Alright. As you can see, it's not really difficult when you do it a couple of times. It is just a little annoying because you have to repeat the same thing for each mod. Back and then save. Let me close that thing because I hate it. Let's see if I'm able to close that message. Not showing anymore. That's really absurd. Okay, so we did this. And we have this hotfix. I'm not sure. Probably this thing also is not needed to change now because we will have a new version. So I will skip it. Oh well, we can change it as we are here. That's really a problem. Probably it is not more needed, but as we are here, let's do it. And this one. Oh, naturally you could just wait, for instance, for me to release the upgraded version of Waterlife using the most recent Tamriel Rebuild release, but I'm trying to show you how you can do things yourself without waiting for other mods to upgrade to the new version. So we have also MCA add-on here. And this is very tricky to update correctly because the mod works by adding NPCs to Tamriel Rebuild, and part of these NPCs are using some sitting animation, which is requiring you replace the stool where NPCs are sitting with some special tools with the same mesh, but with no collision, as the NPCs will not be able to sit correctly. Problem is, one of the typical problems of having new masters with different references is that this replacement of these tools works no stools, sorry, doesn't work anymore. So a typical problem is that you have double stools, but the NPCs are not able to sit correctly anymore because the collision is still there and the mod is not working as expected if you don't use this kind of procedure to upgrade things. So let's see and hope that we are able instead to upgrade the mod using this special procedure. Because the alternative is to just open the mod in the construction set and check every stool and every sitting NPCs and so on. So that M and then the mainland here. So this is changed, this is changed. Now we need to click here and press save. Okay. Then we have this one. And save. And we have this one. This one is another very delicate one because this is replacing a lot of windows and meshes with some special glowing version, and if you change the references it is very sensible and give you a lot of problems if you don't apply these procedures correctly. So you may have, for instance, wrong meshes, replaces, door missings, and things like this. Then we have the sealed striders. And this could also have problems because I tried my best to move the less possible meshes when I do this kind of mods. There are only a few rocks and bridges moved, but in any case, if you don't apply this procedure, things will be broken and these things will not move anymore, so you will have some places where the striders is not able to pass correctly anymore. You will have the strider that is clipping with one of the bridges and so on. So this is the proper way to upgrade yourself the mod, else you have to wait for the new compatible version. But I'm giving you the fishing rod and the bait and teaching you how to fish, so you can avoid to wait to have the money to go and buy the fish somewhere else. Okay. Naturally, this may seem really super difficult the first time you try to do it, but when you have changed several of these files, you realize that it is the same old story you repeat for a bunch of mods. So the more you do it, the simpler it becomes. Naturally, you have to keep concentration up, because it is easy also to forget a step or choose the wrong file, but it is not so difficult, just something a little tedious. So we have the river striders here. And here. And the sign and fixes. And this one. Then we have the open mode hold. The reason why it needs a compatibility is that because I have the door enabled to go inside and outside Almalexia. Okay, save. And the last one should be join all houses and so on. Okay. So, all in all, I think I will do the same also with the big province mod. This Sky main and the other one, because I will replace them then with the proper new version, but first I must move the mod using other tools and so on. So for now, as I'm doing it for the other files, I will just do it also for this, because it's not doing anything wrong with them in any case. and also for PC stock here. And the rest should be standard Tamriel rebuild files that we will have to replace in any case. So probably not needed at all. So we did the hard part of the job, because the next steps should be a little easier, if I recall correctly. So this part where I tell you to use the tool to look for this kind of files containing Tamriel data, in reality it is automatically if we use that batch, this batch that we run. I will run it again just to show you again. That is using task-free command to automatically show you the list. And now you can see that the list is changed, because these are the mods that I have not yet uploaded, because these are parts of Tamriel rebuild, so we will automatically update it. And this is the matched object that we can just generate again once we are done with everything. So all in all, well, we did it. An alternative could be to use our search here. Just use the search of the file manager to search for files in the data files folder. We don't need to go into subfolders, just the current folder. We look for ES question mark files, having this inside Tamriel data. And it's more or less the same thing, but this will show all the mods in your folder, not only the loaded ones, but you get the idea. It is still a way to look for things that could need a change. These are old files, so we're not interested in them, but it is an alternative way to get a list of possible candidates for the updating. And naturally the easier and the best way is to run that batch files, because if it works, if you have the proper task-free command version, it is much easier to use that. Anyway, we did also this. So when you are sure about having done this thing, in practice we have already did it, use this command. We have done everything. We can skip those because we will be using the upgrade. And now we can use the file patcher. Problem is that the file patcher, the Java jar file patcher, has several problems. The first problem is that it is a slow as fuck, because it is a Java program and Java is terribly slow compared to any other thing. If you are a user of OpenOffice or similar tools, you already know it. And the second reason is that the file patcher automatically replaces the master we are using now in our process, the Tamriel Data N ESM and the TR mainland N.ESM with the old names. And we don't want it now because it's just a problem at this point. We don't need it now. So my suggestion is don't do this now. Wait when we have finished the second step. Or maybe don't even run this tool if when we are done and we try to reload the game and we have no errors, you don't need to apply the jar file patcher. Just use it if you see some error messages. Okay, so we have upgraded our mods having Tamriel Data and Tamriel Mainland as masters. Now we need to do the same thing with the saves we want to keep on playing. This is very important. We just upgraded the mods using the Tamriel Data. But we need to do the same thing with our saves that we want to keep on playing. So I will just delete this one because it is just a test, but my list of saves is going from here to here. So I have several files, several saves that I need to upgrade the same way. So how we can do? We can enlarge this, select one of the saves and change the masters. I don't think we can do it for more than one save, but let's try it. So we need to change this as usual. And the Tamriel Mainland. And then we try and save. Probably we cannot do it with more than one file. Let's try again. Ooh, we have a problem here. This is new. Let's see if I can do it from here, but not sure. It's a strange thing. Not working from the save, but working for the mod. I think it's a problem with the executable version, because the source version is working. I will try again. Now there's some kind of incompatibility with some library. This is a problem with this old version. I'm sorry, but I don't really know why it is working with the mods and not with the save. Must be some kind of incompatibility with the old version of Python and so on. I will try and provide the source version of Mesh, but you need to have Python 27 installed for this to work. So could be a problem. I don't know, we could try using the Polemos version, but I'm not sure it will work correctly. While I'm sure that the source version of Mesh, of this Mesh, will work. So for now we will use that just to be sure, and I will look for some possible fix, but it's already been very difficult to be able to compile this executable version. So don't know, but anyway, you do the same thing. If you cannot use my special tweaked version, well, do it from Polemos version. It will be just better than not doing it at all. Because this is an important step in the procedure. Naturally, if you are able to install and run the old version of Mesh, source Mesh, just tell me and I will upload the source version. But I think not many people are running the old version of Mesh. Or I could ask Polemos to do this kind of changes also in this in his version, but it's not something that I'm sure could be done. is it? So this is another version. And I think, oh, this is high level. Need changing to a different character. This is a big save. This is my old super high level character, and I think I have updated all of them. So in theory now we have our mods and our saves upgraded correctly using the mesh updaters procedures, and in theory we should be already able to keep on playing correctly. But we are using the new names for our masters because we could not use the same old names, as we would not have been able to use the updaters procedure. We needed different file names for the old version and the new version. So we can keep things like this. We will be able to load and keep on playing, but usually you want to add a final result using the standard names for the mods. So we want to change these weird names back to the standard names. So we use a trick here. First thing is we really don't need to change the content of this file. We want just to rename them. So we could redo the same procedure and rename them back now that the updaters procedure of mesh already has processed the references and updated hopefully them correctly. But it's a long story to rename back any of these saves and any of these mods to the files, different file names. So what we want to do is use a trick, as we must just rename one single letter. We can use a trick and use some hexadecimal editor to do this automatically. So this is what we will try to do. So we look for files having this master, like such, in the current data files folder for files, for mod files like this, containing this Tamriel Data n.esm. because these are the files we changed. And then we open our hexadecimal editor. There are many. I suggest, as usual, to use some free one if you find a good one. And I suggest this one, which is called HexEdit. You can very easily find it. HexEditor. You can find it here. You can donate, but it's free and it's working very well. So what we do is drag and drop our files open them, and then we search and replace the master name from here. For instance, we look for this, search, replace, and replace with Tamriel Data. All. Replace all. And we do this for all the files. So we click here, search, replace all, search, replace all, much faster than having to do it from the mesh interface. Maybe we can do it also for all files, not sure. Search file. Can we do it in files? Maybe not. So we did it. Search, place all. Search, replace all. Search, replace all. Oh, this one is yeah, we can replace this one too. Okay, and we can do the same with this one, trmailan.esm. So we go here, search, place this with this, all, replace all, search, replace all, and we keep on replacing also this one. Again, you can do that from mesh, but this way it is definitely faster. Right. And we can do the same with our saves. We save all, file, close all. The dates have been reset by mesh, so the order is the same. And as you can see now, we have the old names. We'll probably need to resave here because meshes. Oh, well, we don't touch them for now. We do the same here with the saves. This save maybe are a little more difficult. Can we copy the name file? Cannot drag and drop the files from here. Let's see from the saves folder. Maybe we are able to do that. Saves, date. In theory, should be the more recent one. 3, 6, 7, 8. Three, 6, 7, 8. So these are the files we want to update. Go here. Do the same thing. Search, replace. Search, replace. Search, replace. Search, replace. And the same thing with the other one. Search, replace. Tamriel Data and Tamriel Data. As you can see, the thing is pretty fast. And we save everything and close. And we should be okay. We have also backups if needed, but we don't need them. And now our saves should be using the old names. So before start playing, we need the last step, which is finally to replace the old version of these two files with the new updated version, which now have a different name. So we need to we open the same folder. We look for the Tamriel Data, and we need to replace this old version with this new version, but using the old name. So in practice, we can just rename this one and it will overwrite the old version like this. And the same with the mainland. So we rename back this one and it will replace the other one. So in theory now we have all our mods correctly updated using mesh updaters, using the old name but the new version, and the same with our save. So in theory we should be able to keep on playing the new version of Tamriel Rebuild with all our loading list and new Tamriel data with much less problems than just replacing the new version. The final step is probably to move the new version of the BSA archives. So we have the updated resources. If some of the resources are missing for some mods, well, maybe then we can add them back as separate files, or just merge them, add them to the BSA files, but usually it's not very common. Anyway, we need to copy the new version of the Tamriel Data package. We already optimized them compared to the standard version, and the Tamriel Data here is much smaller, having the same resources, but with also better format in theory, so we can just copy and replace the version here. I do these things with tranquility because I know I have backups of the entire Morrowind folder. If you don't have backups, I suggest you make at least one before starting anything about this update, because you know something may not work and you may need to revert to the previous situation, and having a full backup of the Morrowind folder is really important for this kind of possible problems. But anyway, I think we did everything needed in theory to start our game with the new Morrowind version. So what can we do now? Cross fingers and try starting Morrowind. Naturally, we need a couple steps to be sure. We should at least upgrade the merged objects and the leveler list as usual. But this is something that we can do in a flash like this. Oh, sorry, better to do it first, disabling them, maybe. So when you upgrade, oh, why these are red? Because I'm still using this here. That's strange. I did not change this. Oh, I need still to fix this one. Maybe I did not save. I was sure to have this saved. Oh well. I will do it now. Sorry, I did something wrong with these files. Did not upgrade them correctly, but easy to do. Okay, so we look again. Common search. This folder. These kind of files. This kind of string. And we need also to upgrade these files. So we open again our tool and we do the search replace. For some reason I did not save. I did. So we the all here maybe replace all search place. Strange. I forgot to save all probably. You know, I make mistakes, but not easy to redo this. Also, like Latins used to say repetita juvent. Okay, I replace all of them and then this one. Oh, there is no mainland here. It's only Tamriel Data. Okay. And now I should save all. In theory, it should all be saved. Oh, now things are working. Okay, this is a different version, but it's normal. Okay, the names are correct. So now we want to upgrade our matched objects. So we disable this and this for now. We generate the matched objects starting task-free match, which by the way has been recently updated. Better to start this again. Okay. Then we go and add merged objects back. And finally, we generate the multi-patch using task-free command multi-patch. You can run it from mesh directly. In any case, I suggest you do it using the latest alpha version of task-free command, which is the one in the package. For instance, the one in the update pack, the one pack that I'm providing, or you can download. There are two versions of task-free command. This is the standard one, the .37. Latest one is the .40. This one works better for multi-patch, so I suggest you give it a different name like this and use this to generate multi-patch, and use the other one for other tasks if you need them. But essentially this latest version is better to generate multi-patch and to give you the list of only loaded mods if you use some commands. For the rest, I think the old version could be more stable, but you know, it depends how you use task-free command. If you just use task-free command to generate multi-patch, you can just use the new version. Anyway, we started. I usually started from a link here because it is faster for me. But you can start it from mesh if you prefer, or from a command line as usual. But in any case, I suggest you start the multi-patch after the merged objects. I have some video about it, I think. So notice that I'm still using the old version of Tamriel build preview. I have not yet updated to the new version. We could do that. For instance, replacing the TR preview could be something that we can just do. So TR here. Okay, so core mainland, we already replaced it. .21. Hopefully we are. Where is it? Okay. So preview content. We want to replace this one too. Just to be sure. Okay, so we call it, to make things simpler, we do the same things. We call it preview with the N. This way we give a different name just to apply the updaters if needed. So we go look for the preview. We'll sort by alphabet. Here it is. Sort by dot order. Okay. So I want to see if the new version, well, I will first copy the date as usual. We go to the TR preview with a different name. Here we give the same timestamp and save. So what I want to do is check if this version needs some updaters. So I right click the new version and choose the old version. In theory, okay. And then in our saves, we can replace the new version. We do not need to. Well, let's check it. I don't think I have any mod which is having the preview as master, because it's ESP, so it's really not likely, but we can check easily as usual. This folder, this kind of files. Let's see if there is any of these files having this as master. And as you can see, that's just the merged objects, but this is regenerated every time, so no need. So we just need to check our saves. Our saves will have the old version of the preview, and so we look for it and do the replaces thing. So where is it? Mainland. That's a strange thing. Let's check this. Should be here. Why does this? I think I lost it. I did some mistake and it's not anymore in the loading order. At least for these saves. Well, not a big problem because not really. I did probably some quest there only in one of these saves, the big one here. So, well, not a big problem anyway, but I did something wrong because it is no more present in the save. So, well, problem solved, I suppose. We just I have no more things to update with for this one, so you just rename back to the file duplicate with the standard name. And that's it. I did some mistake. That's it. But as we are here, let's clean also these things, because you know any mod can have problems. So we just try and clean the mainland. That is already clean, and that's good. And then we do the same with the preview. And the preview has some good things that needed cleaning. We can take a look at this, the log, to check things that have been. Ooh, plenty of problems here. For the preview. But it's normal because it's something, some kind of work in progress, so a little problem is not something unexpected. And we do the same about the mesh. Or the clean command. Okay, no more things to clean. Then we have the others. H here. Travel network for core and wonderful. Travel network for core preview and wonderful. And faction integration. So at this time, I think I will just copy over the files because that's it. These are mostly text files. Or NPCs files. So no references, hopefully. Well, let's take a look at them. The other travels. Statistics, as you can see. Oh, plenty of cells. But okay, let's see if we need some replacer for them. We'll copy with a new name as usual, just to check. The travels, updaters, old one. It's better to replace it. So same timestamp. And then we do the thing with the save. If the save is using them, because I have a feeling that I have. Oh, maybe I know why these things are not anymore there. Now I know why. I understand why these are not there anymore. I did a mistake when I overwrite the old version of the Tamriel data and the mainland. This way, they are no more loaded by uh, the saves, so that's probably the reason. But anyway, there's no let's see how this go. You have travels here, and so well, I can just override this one. Okay, so file, duplicate. Like this. I know I'm making things little. Basically, I can just overwrite it like this and call it a day. Maybe try and clean it if needed. Already clean, and at this point we do the same thing for the factions one. I think this one is the same, not change it. Okay, so in theory we are done. In theory we should upgrade also the PC, the Zero Deal one and the Skyrim one, but I have to move the new version before being able to do that, and that's another long story. So for now I will just try to keep on using the old version of those two mods made compatible with the new Tamriel Data version. So basically, crossing fingers, we will try and start borrowing and hope that everything is not exploding. Basically, we may need to save the yellow files like this. At this point, like this, because the version here is different. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's start borrowing. What's this? Waiting for user response. I will close this. Skip. Oh, did not use this. Skip. soon. Oh, naturally, we should also generate distant land and so on. But that's another kind of data files of visual problems. Well, one arrow would be just too good to be real. Oh, I'm trying to load this super big old save with the level 45 Carta, 20 megabytes of saved Morrowind world. So if this one is loading without showing big problems, well, that means that probably we did not break big things, but you never say. Also, naturally, we are just trying to fix technical data format problems. There may be different kind of problems, like for instance, time rebuild reorganizing some old city like Helnim and how is it called, Firewatch, moving things around and ruining some mods like my transport ones. In theory this should happen because I talked with the modder responsible of doing this kind of upgrades, and in theory he should not have touched the path in possibly conflicting with my transport routes, but you know, you must check things in game and in the construction set before being sure about this kind of thing. So there could be some problems there, but being able to load this big save is already a big good sign about it. We could just check that, for instance, trying to reach one of those uh, cities that could have these big kind of changes. So for instance, we use the cheat mod to teleport to one of these cells, see what happens. Oh, so let me stop the music here because it's a little annoying now. Okay. So we try to teleport to, for instance, Helnim and see what happens. Because this is one of the city that should have a big overhaul. Naturally, we will add the distant land not showing correctly, but that is expected because I did not upgrade it, regenerate it yet. So, normal. What I'm interested in is taking a look at the changes in the layout of the city, see if there are incompatibilities with the transport mods. In theory, there should not be, but you know. Okay, I will just levitate here. Because I'm so super powerful modded narrowing here. Okay, so this is one of the balls. God.
Should you need something, I would be happy to oblige.
Okay, so for instance, let's try this strip. Firewatch.
Firewatch, 38 gold pieces.
Let's see if I can go faster. Options. We will use max speed so we can reach the Firewatch city, which is another having the big changes a little faster. I think that's being oh, we crashed. Well, that's not really a problem with timer rebuild. More something like using too many things running. But anyway, I think this save could be repaired, and all in all, these super big saves have loaded almost correctly. So there may be problems, but not the technical ones. Maybe some update conflicting with some other mod, but not a technical problems with references and so on. Hopefully. But anyway, that's currently what I can do and try to update when Tamriel Data and Tamriel Rebuild especially are upgraded. Next step will be to move the Zero Deal, the new version of the Zero Deal mod. This big one. Where is? Well, the Skyman here. Move this and the Stirk one, but I need to download and upgrade that, and that's another story. So all in all, I think we can stop here. I'm sorry that the executable version that I try to provide is not working well for the saves. It's a pity, but I really don't know what the problem is, because it's working with the mods. Must be some kind of incompatibility with the libraries, with the old Python version. But at the moment I have no better solution than keep on using the old version of Mash. But you need the old version of Python installed for this, and not something I can really expect most people will have. Oh, but I think all in all, just using it, just using this special executable for the mods, and maybe using the Polemos mesh version for the saves could be still better than just overwriting the mods and damaging the references for sure. So for now, that's all, and thanks for watching. And maybe next time we will see how to move the Skyrim and Skyrim, I don't know how to say it, and the Zero Deal mods could be interesting. But anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.